What is up, America? Welcome to episode 4 of Tuesday Night Football.
It's Kenny Nicholson.
It's Richard Mignette. Thank you for coming back and joining us again. Um, we're going to get into it right away. Kenny has prepared a statement, and he would like to address our fans. So here's Kenny.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the floor. So, as commissioner of the league, um, I don't take that as like a dictator position, but I would like to make a statement on my behalf with my title. Um, Vetoes, trading vetoes. It was a hot topic a couple weeks ago, but I think now we've all seen. And apologies if I sound discombobulated because I am. We've all seen now, according
Credit to Kenny. He's moving into a
yeah,
to a new palace. So
I just
everyone bear with him. He just made a fan.
yeah, I made a fan. That was brutal. I did not know it was that hard. Also, my background has changed in a new house. I actually have my own office now. It's pretty cool.
New house, new
Anyways,
background. We're moving up.
correct. And I hope everybody succeeds in 2024. But anyways, back to my statement. Mike and Dan made a trade. It was super controversial. Everybody was like, cancel the trade. Even myself, I was like, dang, this is kind of a weird trade. Why would Mike do this?
Fishy.
Dan, no offense to Mike. Mike, I feel like I said that every episode. I love you, bro. Dan won that trade now. I mean, 1 week after, it's really early to tell. But I mean, CeeDee Lamb, Joe Mixon balled out, Cooper Kupp, Pollard not balling out. That's why vetoes, you shouldn't veto because a trade could look crappy at first,
Mm-hmm.
but you never know. That's my
Yep.
statement. I don't think we should ever put vetoes in this league. That would be a disgrace. Back to the program.
We do live in a democracy. That will be a hot topic next week.
Yeah.
And my statement is free market for all. Vetoes are pathetic and
Yeah.
terrible and are just an excuse for being upset that two people came together on a trade because it's not easy. People think trades are super easy. They're not easy. So,
Heck no.
no vetoes. All right. Week 9 is in the books. We have a new standings in the power rankings. We'll get through those real quick. Let me see if I can find them. All right. So, Jared still remains at the number 1 spot at 6-3. At number 2, your boy, 6-3. Number 3, Picket Fence, also at 6-3. So we got 3 guys tied at 6-3 for the first 3 spots. And then we have a flurry of 5-4s and 4-5. So coming in at the 4 spot is Nikki at 5-4. The 5 spot is JJ at 5-4. Then Kenny at 5-4 in the 6 spot. 7 spot Mike at 4-5. 8 spot Grant at 4-5, followed by Lee 3-6 at 9, and our sweet boy Dan has won a game. He is 1-8, the 10 spot. He is not locked in for last place yet, so that is important to note as we go through here. I think I got. Sorry about that. All right, let's get right into it. First game, we will do Grant and Jared. So this was a 130 to 114 upset. Grant takes down Jared. I think we both picked Jared to win this game because Grant was reliant a lot on Chargers and Lions, but the Chargers came to play. Austin Eckler, 21 points. Keenan Allen, 15 points. Tank Dell, 29 points. Cleveland defense, 24 points. I think Tank Dell and the Browns were definitely the X factor and the difference for Grant in this game.
Yeah, completely agree. Tank Dell actually was on my roster for a while and wasn't playing well, and Grant just got himself a gem. So good for you, Grant. I picked Jared as well in this game. You kind of read off the players that bought out for Grant. On Jared's side of the ball, it looks like his team might be cooling down a little bit. I still think he's got a great squad. But Puka Nakua, I'm pretty sure he's on a bye next week. Not a whole lot going there until Stafford comes back. Hawkinson, we'll see how that plays out. Tyree didn't really have a great game. That actually hurt a lot of people. Saquon, Alvin Kamara, they're always going to be good, but didn't have a great week. Didn't Jared still put up 114, which could beat teams week to week, but in this league, honestly, it's a pretty high scoring league. Grant's team came to play, and yeah, he got the dub. Sorry for not picking you, Grant.
Unfortunately, something maybe that Jared can hang his hat on. If he plays Ramondre Stevenson, he wins this game. But unfortunately, he did not. He was on his bench. So Jared falls to 6-3. All right, moving on. We're moving on to JJ versus Jake, and I believe I picked Jake. And what an upset for JJ! 120-97. JJ is 5-4. Jake is 6-3. Looking at the big players for JJ, Josh Jacobs, obviously. Josh McDaniels gets fired, and Josh Jacobs suddenly becomes a superstar again. I don't think that's a coincidence. Amari Cooper, huge game with Deshaun Watson coming back. Um, Jake did have some bright spots. Deontay Johnson with 22 points, scored his first touchdown in like over 2 years. Good for him. George Pickens, unfortunately, that is the yin and yang of starting two wide receivers on the same team. George Pickens goes for 1.9. Might have been the difference in this one. Najee Harris, I'll let you elaborate on that.
Yeah. Not to toot my own horn here, but we started a segment last week where we picked sleepers. So I thought Najee was kind of due for a good game. You could roll the clip, producer, if you would like. I
Yeah, roll
believe
the
I
clip.
predicted 50 to 70 yards for Najee Harris and a touchdown. I told you it was going to be a good game from Najee, not
Mhm.
like an amazing game where it's like, oh my gosh, this guy just went off. But for Najee standards, it was going to be a good game. And then I also followed up with Deontay Johnson having a good game. Both of them got in the end zone. Both of them had great games. I think both have pretty bright futures ahead for them. Just wanted to toot my own horn there. But back to the game. Yeah, JJ's team came to play. I think I might have, I don't remember who I picked. I think I might have picked JJ, but
We'll have a loyal listener put in the comments who we picked
yeah.
from last week because
Yeah, if
they
anybody wants
love
to
our
take
show so much.
exactly. If anybody wants
Yeah,
to take the time to do that.
yeah.
But yeah, no, JJ's team came to play without McCaffrey. Impressive showing. I think Jake's team played pretty well. Just obviously wasn't enough to get it done. Both quarterbacks underproduced. But yeah, JJ's team is kind of rounding into form here.
Yeah, so good victory for Jake. Excuse me, for JJ, two J's. JJ is 5-4. He gets the win 120-97. We'll take out the decimals, make it easy for everybody. Numbers are hard. All right, that leads us into our next game, Kenny versus Nikki.
Mm.
Nikki takes the dub 130-109. And piggybacking off of your sleeper, you had Najee. He played great. My guy, I'm sorry, Nikki. I jinxed you because Chris Godwin was non-existent in this game. I believe he had a whopping 3.6 points. But regardless, even overcoming the jinx, Nikki wins by a comfortable 21 points. Derek Carr with a 16. Mostert again, he's been putting up great numbers with A-Chain out with a 14 bomb. And then, the deciding factor, I'm wearing the jersey because the Jets got destroyed last night. Chargers defense. I mean, 29 points in a sleeper league. Our defense is not a high scoring, really league at all. That's impressive. I'll just read these off. 6 points allowed, 270 yards allowed, 8 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and a touchdown on that punt return. Wow, they almost had 2 touchdowns. He stepped out the 1 yard line, number 32 for the Chargers. But that was a difference in this game. Kenny, I'll let you have the floor.
Yeah. Not much to say, man. Chargers defense, I went in to last night. I think my lead was 109-101. So I'm like, okay,
Mm,
there's still a chance because
hope.
defenses typically kind of, score in the 10 range or a little bit below
Yeah,
that. Nope,
yeah, yeah.
nope, 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 nope. Didn't have hope the entire game. Pretty much after like the second quarter. I mean, I always had like a sliver of hope, not to like expose myself. I was like, is there a chance? No. Played against Chargers defense in pretty much all of my leagues. It was brutal. I mean, that was the deciding factor, to be honest with you. I think both of our teams were kind of like neck and neck in terms of points. Like we all balanced each other out pretty good. Will Levis, I almost talked myself out of playing him. I would have picked up Stroud, but that was a mistake. Will Levis was dropped this morning as soon as I was able.
Sure.
But yeah, good job, Nikki. I mean, your team, you got a really solid team. I think ETN comes back next week. You got Laporta back next week. Got a lot of good teams in this league, man.
Yeah, really easy to say you would have picked up Stroud if he drops a 40 piece. Sure,
Actually, I
buddy.
mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
good thing is I
sure.
can sleep tonight
Yeah,
because I
I
knew
almost
I
picked
was
up
going to do
Stroud
that.
too. Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right. Nikki gets the win, 130-109. Both teams are at 5-4 right now. Moving on, we will get to me and Lee's game. I win 133-129, and this was a nail biter. Garrett Wilson had a costly fumble, would have made that a 2-point game, and then he dropped a late ball late in the fourth quarter, which I think would have given Lee probably the win if he gets that ball. So Garrett Wilson needed 18, he got 13. That was pretty much the difference in this one. Josh Allen with another 24 bomb. He is Mr. Consistent for my team. I did not get any numbers from the running backs this week. 2.7 from from Kenneth Walker and 4.6 from Devin Singletary. That's terrible. Damian Pierce was out. And James Conner will be coming back. So I'm looking forward to James Conner next week on my team to even increase my super team. Just kidding, don't have one. Jamar Chase with a measly 8. That's not good. That's not going to cut it. But Taysom Hill, I think, might have been the X factor in this one with a 20 piece. Jake Ferguson, Lee picked him up. He had a nice 22 piece in this game. T. Higgins with 19. Lee actually asked us earlier in the year. He said, "Hey fellas, I'm thinking about dropping T. Higgins." And I mean, I'm not gonna let Lee do that. You know, like just not even fantasy, just friend to friend. I can't let you drop T. Higgins. He's going to produce. I have T. Higgins in another league. I know we don't talk about other leagues, but I have T. Higgins in another league. He had a great game, and he didn't even score. So that's 19 points without even getting the end zone. He's a problem, but unfortunately, Lee takes a loss here, drops him to 3-6, and me to 6-3.
Yeah. Your team. Do you have A Chain in this league?
I do have H.N. correct. He's
Oh,
on
yeah.
IR.
So yeah, A
I have
Chain,
H.N. in
James
another league as
Conner.
well, but we don't talk about the other leagues.
Yeah. A Chain and Connor coming back are going to be big for you because Singletary, I think he's a droppable player.
Oh, he definitely is. Yep.
Kenneth Walker, we'll see how that shapes out. The good news is you have Charbonnet, but we'll see how that plays out. It might be another pure Singletary situation where they both just take up space, but good week by Lee. I picked Richard to win, and he won. And Lee had a pretty good showing. Garrett Wilson, which Lee absolutely fleeced me in that three-way trade we did. I got Fields, who has done nothing since I traded for him. Miles Sanders might actually take the starting role back, so that's going to be good for Lee's future. But yeah, no, good game by Richard. His team balled out. Taysom Hill was a great pickup, so credit to
Yeah.
you.
Good game by Richard, whoever that guy is. He did a really good job this week. All right. And then the highlight of the week, the upset of the century, some are calling it, the struggle bus, the brother-in-law battle, the battle of the brother-in-law bowls, the bottle of Bushnell. B. The struggle bus, 159 to 104 over Mike. I think it's safe to say we all thought it was a cute idea, but nobody saw this coming. Mike had a great week on. I mean, 104 isn't, in our league isn't, a great number, but it's not bad either. He didn't put up like a 90 piece. Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts, Tony Pollard only put up 9, Aaron Jones, but I think probably the difference is the fact that Cooper Kupp and CeeDee Lamb were traded for each other this week. So I think, things maybe go a little different if they're both on their respective teams, but Dan, I mean, just balled out. Joe Burrow, 22, Joe Mixon, 17, Rashad White, 28. CeeDee Lamb, 28. Nobody would have beat. I mean, nobody's going to beat Dan this week, so it didn't really matter who he played. But a very, very impressive showing from Dan. And I love the fact that even at 0-8, he's still competing. That's all you can ask for in a fantasy football league.
Yeah, Dan is the epitome of what a last place player should be. The guy,
Yep.
this is what you hope for in every league. You hope that nobody stops setting their lineups. You hope people just stop picking people up on the waivers and stop competing. No, Dan has fought his way to that victory. That has to feel so good. I mean, talk about earning that win, man. Especially over the brother-in-law Mike. Everybody's like, "Oh, Mike fleeced him in that trade." No, Dan was like, "No, not today." CeeDee Lamb, Joe Mixon, revenge game against Mike for trading them away. Absolutely crushed it. I think I said in the last episode, I picked Dan. Against all odds, I picked Dan. And I said I like his team coming out to end the year. I think I said his over under at 3 wins. Honestly, that's showing right there. Man, I'm gonna go over. I think
Oh,
Dan could honestly get to at least 4 wins. I mean, I think he's gonna go on a tear here. And clip that if I'm right. But yeah, no, Mike's team still looking pretty good. Just didn't have a really good showing this week. He'll get Gibbs, Ridley, Debo, Goff, all those guys back on his team. Actually, he doesn't need Goff. Actually, he will because Jalen Hurts is on a bye. He gets all those people back. So I don't think there's any smoke alarm. What do we say? Emergency alarm, fire alarm going off for Mike.
yep.
I just think Dan was the better team this week, and I'm excited to see how that plays out.
Yeah, as far as Dan going on a tear, he plays me this week, so I'm not sure about that one, man. Might have to look back and clip that one. All right, let's get into the TV schedule. Okay, so we the matchups this week. I play Dan. Jared has Lee. You have JJ. Battle of 5 and 4 right there. That's gonna be a big game. Mike has Jake. Also gonna be a good game. They're both projected on 111 right now. That could be a decimal alert game. And then we got Grant versus Nikki. That's also a point 0.8 difference in these games. So we have some fantastic games across the board this week. Let's get right into it. So we're gonna do also another Germany game. That's gonna replace the Fox game. So I'm gonna send to Germany Grant and Nikki. I think this is a really compelling game. Like I said, the difference is point 0.8 right now. One team could be 4-6, the other could be 6-4. Both these guys can be 5-5. I think both are playing really good ball right now, both coming off victory. This is a compelling game. I know that the game in Germany is Patriots and Colts. I don't care. I know those two teams aren't great teams. That's not reflective at all of these two guys. They're quality guys, not only as fantasy players, but as men as well. Guys you want your corner. I'm going to put that game in Germany. That's going to be a 9:30 a.m. start on Sunday. Moving on, let's get to a Thursday night game. I'm going to put in the Thursday night slot here Lee versus Jared. Now, I'm putting this here because Lee right now is projected to win. I know Jared's got a ton of guys on the bye. I think he already said that Lee might win. And these Thursday night games, the product is terrible, and sometimes there's some crazy upsets. The Bears beat the Commanders a couple weeks ago on Thursday night. What was the Thursday night game? The Steelers beat the Titans. That was a close game. I'm gonna go Jared versus Lee here. What do you think about that?
I like it. I also next week is a lot of buys.
A lot of
Jared's
buys.
team currently is projected 75.
Mm,
His team is projected 97, which isn't as bad.
mm,
There's a lot of buys.
a lot of
Just to keep in
buys.
mind. But yeah, no. So far, I like that matchup a lot. I might honestly Lee could pull it up. So it's the race. It's the race to the Waffle House. We'll see what happens, but I'll let you continue.
It is right now the race to the Waffle House. Dan is in the lead, and he is ready to demolish some waffles. And that brings us to our sponsor, Waffle House, who isn't our official sponsor, but we love them. Waffle House, all you can eat breakfast any time of the day. If Waffle House gets back to you, sponsor us. I'll wear your gear all day. I'll be a human spokesperson for Waffle House. I do like waffles. Shout out to Waffle House and bacon and home fries. All right. That's besides the point. Um, let's go we're gonna go with the CBS 425 game. I'm putting you and JJ in that slot. I love this matchup. 5-4. Tony Romo on the call. Jim Nance. Tracy Wolf's on the sideline. He is projected 97. But listen, this is fantasy football. Anything is possible. Dan showed that last week. Anything is possible here. This is gonna be a good matchup. Two really quality teams, and the playoff race is getting tight, getting really tight. One team's gonna be 6-4. One team's gonna be 5-5. So this is a big who's going to show up game. Who's going to take the next step? What are your thoughts on that?
I don't want to comment too much on my own game, but I will say that it's.
Yeah,
I
just
mean,
quick
yeah,
thoughts.
quick thoughts. 5 weeks left in the season. Yeah, this game is huge. Just going to determine who's going to be 6-4, who's going to be 5-5.
Perfect. All right. So moving on, I'm going to put in the Sunday night slot Mike versus Jake. Now, Mike is 4-5, but Mike is just a compel. Whenever you're 1-4 and say you're elite, and then you back it up, it's like he's like the league has got eyes on Mike. He's drawing interest. He's a crowd pleaser. Jake is 6-3, so this perfectly sits the Sunday night football kind of criteria for what you want in there. You want a team that's going to draw some eyeballs, maybe like the Cowboys or like who's another team that draws the Jets. That's a team that draws eyeballs, and then you got 6-3 with Jake with a good winning record. So this is perfect. I think Tarico and Chris Collinsworth are going to really enjoy this one. Close game. That's also great factors. Is we got eyeballs, good football, and a close game. This is a 0.67 difference between these. I don't even maybe 0.067. I don't know. 111.82 to 111.15. So this is as close as it gets. 50-50, throw up a coin, toss it up. These two guys are gonna win, are gonna be in the game, and one of them's gonna win. And then we're gonna put in Monday Night Football, me versus Dan. Dan coming off a huge win versus Mike, as we talked about. I'm 6-3, shared the top spot in the league. Actually, Jared's number 1. I'm technically number 2. I'm projected 121. He's projected 117. So it's going to be a dogfight. I'm pretty hopeful that I come up on top. Um, but that is your TV schedule for the week. Listen, we're getting in that crunch time, like Kenny talked about. 5 weeks left in the season. This is nut cracking time. All right, everybody needs to saddle up, give it their best effort. There's no more next week or making a trade for next week. It's all about right now. This is right now. Um, so that's what we got going. What do you think?
Yeah. I mentioned in the chat earlier, trade deadlines coming up. You can
Mm-hmm.
make a trade until the last after the final game of week 11.
Week
So
one more time. After
11
the final
after
game of
game
week 11.
11.
11.
For you Spanish speakers.
1
Um,
1.
yes, but so get your trades in. I know I've got a couple in my inbox. Not going to talk about that.
Whoa.
Because we don't reveal that. I sent them
Whoa.
out and got counters. They know who they are.
You
I'll
know who
get
you
to
are.
those. I'll get to those soon. But yeah, no,
Yeah, he'll
everybody,
get
like
to
he
you. He'll
said,
get to you.
I will. Everybody needs to saddle up, get ready because yeah, we got 5 weeks left. We got a long regular season in this league, so we're really gonna separate the boys from the men, and we're gonna figure out who's gonna make the playoffs. So we had a lot on the line here, a lot of pride, a lot of joy. Nikki is the former champion. Who's gonna hold the trophy at the end of the season? We will see. We will see.
Amen. Amen. So that is our week 9 recap, and we are moving on to week 10 on Thursday. We will have our picks,
Mm-hmm.
and we will also recap our picks from week 8 and week 9 because our producer didn't get that on the camera last week. So we'll be able to fix that. And then let's get into some Bucks talk because wow,
Mm.
wow. That's all I can really say right now is wow. If you've been living under a rock and you didn't see the Bucs lost to the Houston Texans by a final score of 39-37, and just to preface this, the Bucs were up 37-33 with 42 seconds left, and the Texans had 2 timeouts and a rookie quarterback, and without their starting running back, and a rookie head coach. This was an atrocity. This was an absolute atrocity. But what we're going to do here is we're going to stay positive because if you go on any single podcast right now in the Tampa Bay area, fire this guy, bench that guy, yeah. And those could all be very true. I am not disagreeing with any of those statements. Some of them are very true. Some of them are outlandish. Some of them are dead wrong. But what we're going to do is we got to stay positive because there's nothing else. I could sit here and I've complained and cried long. I've called my dad almost in tears after watching that game, almost in tears. But what are you going to do? Let's try to point out some bright spots. Baker Mayfield, 21 of 30, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Oh, yes. Baker had a Baker played really well. Ultimately, it came down to Stroud out dueling Baker.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I mean, I don't know.
I mean,
Baker
he, I
like
mean,
held his
he
own.
best. He, I mean, CJ Stroud definitely bested him.
Yeah, I mean, he played better. But at the same token, our run game actually did well. Houston's run game was non-existent. I think Devin Singletary had like 20 yards.
26 yards.
Ton of
Yep.
usage, but he had like 20 yards. And yeah, so like the Texans defense played pretty bad. The Bucs defense played worse. You have 46 seconds on the clock left. You give up that go ahead touchdown. I mean, we just scored a touchdown, and then we gave up a touchdown at the end. That's just not going to cut it. Todd Bowles, listening to a couple of my sources, I have a feeling he's going to be our coach for a while. That's just how the Bucs do things in the past, and I'm sure towards the end of the regular season he'll be gone. But until then, we'll probably have to endure this. But on a positive note, run game looked great. Rashad White played great. Blocking was better. Kate Otten, 2 tutties, that's good. Baker played well. It's just when you need the defense, finally our offense plays well. You need the defense to play well. They don't show up, and you lose to a rookie quarterback who now people are saying he's going to be the freaking MVP. He's in the MVP conversation, which his stats are amazing. MVP conversation, that's a bit much, but he's playing great.
Yeah. So this was like we've already talked about. It was a terrible game, terrible outcome. CJ Stroud did in fact set the rookie record for passing yards in the game, 470, previously held by I believe Andrew Luck, and then previously held before that by the great Cam Newton. Um, this was, I mean, listen, there's not a lot of games like the Bucs have not been competitive for a very long time. So there's not a lot of games you're like, oh my gosh, like just gut wrenching. Like nine times out of 10, we're in a position where it's like, okay, we lost, like we blew it, we lost. It's kind of par for the course. The only other game that this feels like would be the Rams game in the playoffs in 2021 with the Cooper Cup Hail Mary BS, zero blitz, ridiculousness. But I don't. I just to say that I was surprised that our defense played that bad is an understatement. We looked like there's some times where the Bucs go out there and just look like they didn't practice, like they didn't even know what was going on that week. Who it's like you brought 11 guys together and said you're playing an NFL game today. And our run defense is great. Vita Vea is great. Levante David flies around the field like he's still 25 years old. But Jamel Dean gets hurt first drive, out for the game. Carlton Davis, I mean, we can go on and on about Carlton Davis, but I'm not going to do that because we're staying positive. So Ryan Neal gets benched. D. Delaney goes in there, makes some plays, not really. Zion McCollum goes in there, gives up a holding penalty, and still gives up a ton of yards. Like, it's confusing. It's confusing how this happens. And then to lose, it's just a little reference on how we lost this game last week. The Bucs had Tom Brady last year. We were at Cleveland. We could have gone down the field with 32 seconds left and 3 timeouts, and we elected to play for overtime. So 32 seconds, 3 timeouts, Tom Brady. The Texans went down the field with 46 seconds, 2 timeouts, and CJ Stroud. That's insanity. That's insanity that they were able to do that. And we weren't, and we weren't even able to do that last year with the greatest quarterback to ever live. So I don't know. We're 3-5. The 7th seed in the NFC South is wide open. The NFC South is wide open. The 7th seed in the NFC in general is wide open. But I can't sit here and confidently say that we're going to beat the Titans. I thought confidently we were going to beat the Falcons. We lost. I thought confidently we were going to beat the Texans, and we lost. So we've lost 4 in a row. Do I think we could lose 5 in a row? I really hope not. But like you've referenced before, the Bucs don't do business this way. Raheem Morris lost 10 games in a row, and we didn't fire him during that stretch. So Todd Bowles is probably not going to get fired in the middle of the year. Do I think this loss probably falls on Todd Bowles' shoulders? Probably. But I think more so, Todd Bowles can't play. Todd Bowles, he can call, but he can't play. At some point, Todd Bowles can't defend Noah Brown. He can't defend a play to the end zone to Dalton Schultz. This is what these guys are getting paid a ton of money to do. So Todd Bowles is going to be our coach. It is what it is. You know, for better or for worse, we're not going to fire him. I don't believe it's a different generation. The Bucs might get bullied and fire him. I don't believe it's going to happen. I think the Glazers are pretty headstrong on keeping their coaches for the whole year. But and, you know, just to put a positive twist on this offense, looked great, and we got to beat another rookie quarterback from the AFC South next week, and Will Levis. So we're at home. I unfortunately probably will not be able to make it. I hope you make it. We need all the Bucs fans in the world to be there because for some reason Bucs fans just decide to stop showing up. I think it's BS. I don't live in Tampa, so don't look at me. And if I am in Tampa, I'm there. But I don't know. It's just, you know, we're a positive podcast because they are getting killed right now, deservedly so. But what are you gonna do? All you can do is look at the tape, break down the tape, and play better next week versus the Titans, a team that's not really good. We said about the Texans though, but Titans really aren't that good.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Titans actually, we sent a couple of text messages a while ago predicting like the future of the games. I have us beating the Titans. Didn't know about Will Levis at the time, so we'll see what happens. I'm pretty confident that we'll get it together at least this week. Play a good game, you know, get our hopes up, and we'll see how the future goes. But yeah, no, I think our run defense will show up. Hopefully a little bit better than it has been in the past. Stop Derrick Henry. I mean, the Titans don't have a whole lot of weapons. The Texans, I think, are better than people give them credit for. And we've lost to like really good teams. And with Raheem Morris in that situation, I believe he started 3-1 too, and then went on that
we were 4-2.
4-2.
In 2010 or 20 it was 2011, sorry. 2011 we started 4-2, lost 10 in a row.
Well, yeah, so similar situation. We'll see. I mean, times change, I guess, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm still pretty hopeful. I don't see us like being a, you know, super contender in the playoffs, but I still think we have a pretty good shot at winning the NFC South. The Saints don't look super dangerous. They
No, they
have looked
don't.
better.
They barely squid. If the Bears had a quarterback, they would have won that game. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I mean, I think the Saints have looked better, but they haven't looked elite by any means. Derek Carr still doesn't really look like very comfortable.
Hmm.
They're relying heavily on Taysom Hill, which I don't know how people struggle so much against Taysom Hill. Like when he's behind the ball, like when he's under center or whatever in shotgun, he's gonna run most likely. Like I mean, but I guess he can pass too. Whatever. But yeah, no, I'm hopeful we'll beat the Titans. I'm excited to watch the game. I'm gonna try my best to be there. Can't commit to anything since I am doing this move and I am partially brain dead right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Um. This man right here, Rondé Barber, said it best. We have one of the best defenders, secondary defenders in the league, and right now we look like the worst secondary, which is
Yeah.
hard to do. Antoine Winfield's an absolute baller. Look, there are some times in the NFL where you just got to look in the mirror and say, what are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? Rondé Barber is not walking through that door. Darrell Revis is not walking through that door. Keith Talib is not walking through that door. John Lynch is not walking through that door. John Lynch is in San Francisco. All right. It's about the guys in that room. Carlton Davis, Zion McCollum, Jamel Dean if he's healthy, D. Delaney, Ryan Neal. Who's gonna make a play? Who's gonna step up? Because that's all we got. We don't have a ton of depth. Richard Sherman with one leg is not walking through that door. He's not. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's all you can really say. If we win this game, I I'm cautiously optimistic that we will win this game. I really believe that we can beat the Titans. So again, I said about the Texans, but I really believe it. You got the
Yeah.
49ers. 49ers have had a couple, daggers in their shield. Um, Probably going to lose that game. Then you got the Colts. How are you going to stop Jonathan Taylor? Run defense. We have a good run defense. So hopefully make Gardner Minshew throw the ball a lot. And then hopefully our secondary shows up. So these games are Titans, Colts, Panthers, Falcons, Packers, Saints, Panthers. Those are winnable games. So but hey, Todd Bowles says it better. It's Bucs versus Bucs. It's how it always is. The penalties, the bus coverages, all of it. So we gotta play better. Simple as that. We gotta be positive and we gotta play better. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. That about puts a bow on it. I mean, I completely agree.
All right. So that is your Bucks bonus right there. We are 3-5. I believe we're second in the division right now. Let's see. We double check that. We're probably tied for second with the Saints, probably, maybe. I mean, with the Falcons. Yeah, we are. Nope, we're actually third. Um, we're 1-3. No, sorry, we're 1-1 in the division. We are 1-3 at home and 2-2 on the road. So we need to up that home record a little bit, and hopefully we do that versus the Titans. But that's gonna do it for episode 4. Um, we will be back on Thursday with our picks and our previews of Week 10 in the NFL. Um, we will do our updated records. I know that the producer didn't get that on the
Mhm.
last episode. Idiot. Um, so we'll have that updated. I'll do overall records and we'll pick some games and hopefully try to get in the green.
Yes,
I won't
sir.
tell you guys our records from last week. If you want to go back and check, you can, but I'm going to save that for Thursday. So I appreciate all the fans listening. Thank you guys. Um, See you guys on Thursday.
See you guys. Thank you. Peace, love, God bless.